UCSF is dedicated to facilitating open and ongoing education with the community and elected officials, and supporting UCSF's commitment to the communities we call home. Now more than ever, it is critical that UCSF stands up and speaks out to help shape local, state, and federal policies that promote our core missions of healthcare, scientific research, and education. Today, I'm joined by Francesca Vega, UCSF's Vice Chancellor of Community and Government Relations, to discuss some timely advocacy issues and provide information on how you, as UCSF faculty, staff, and learners can get involved. Thank you for joining today, Francesca. To start, it would be great if you could provide an overview of your team's advocacy work and the opportunities that exist for our UCSF community to engage in policy change and participate in advocacy trainings and events.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here, and it is indeed timely. The Office of Community and Government Relations is really the liaison for our electeds on the local, state, and federal level. We also coordinate UCSF's response to political and policy issues and advise on strategies or facilitate dialogue with government and community leaders. This includes the business community. This includes other regional stakeholder organizations. I also am looking to the future and how we can really lead the narrative when it comes to strategic partnerships and the work that UCSF is doing in the community. I think it's important for our external partners, neighbors, community members to be able to touch and feel UCSF in various ways and to utilize us when it comes to advocacy and staying on top of key issues that are in line with our mission. So collectively we inform, so what's happening, we educate, why does it matter, and we influence what should be done. We help identify the messengers often for these key messages as well to the external community. So it's really about ensuring that UCSF is that trusted, nonpartisan, evidence-based voice when it comes to policymaking and community engagement. So with our advocacy opportunities, we are always looking for advocates, and it's important for us to ensure that we have unique voices at the table that can help shape local, state, and federal policies that promote and protect UCSF's mission.
Thank you, Francesca. Of all the initiatives you and your team are working on, what are two of the top issues that keep you up at night? And what are resources our UCSF community can access to learn more and get involved?
Well, you don't have to be an official UCSF advocate to join us, but I'll definitely focus on two of our key initiatives and major priorities that folks can participate in now and that are definitely keeping me up at night. The first one would be supporting the revitalization of the UCSF Parnassus Heights campus in the new hospital. This is a complex 30-year project that really will transform how we serve our patients. We are the second largest employer in the city and county of San Francisco. So much. As we've embarked on the comprehensive Parnassus Heights plan, we have been engaging community, our elected officials, of course. We've been looking at how we can align and invest in transportation, workforce, all relevant to this massive project. So getting support from key stakeholders, key organizations has been critical to this, and ensuring that whether you're a patient, whether you're a staff member, a community member, a faculty member, that you're educated on what this Parnassus revitalization actually looks like, how it might impact you, and hearing your voice at the table. It's incredibly critical at this point. The other priority would definitely be getting out the vote through our UCSF Votes initiative between campus our UCSF health clinicians, local civic nonprofits, and the Department of Elections. And this is a coalition to civic engagement within UCSF and the communities that we serve. I know I'm not alone when I talk about the importance of November 3rd and the election. So this is a way that we can get out there and engage folks to be educated on, you know, where to vote, what the process is going to look like, and how they can ensure that they're sharing that information with their networks. To learn more about what is on the ballot, folks can join our upcoming UCSF virtual events, which are listed on our website, and that's at www.ucsf.edu/vote. This website will include events such as our partnership with the League of Women Voters. We're sponsoring a ballot initiative forum for our UCSF community in mid-October. Also, just a reminder, in early October, all registered voters in California will automatically receive a mailed ballot.
As a 501c3 and a state entity, there are legal restrictions on the types of political activities UCSF employees can engage in on behalf of UCSF. When engaging on issues with UCSF, generally, informational activities are okay, while campaign activities on behalf of candidates or ballot initiatives are not. Can you please provide some do's and don'ts for our audience?
Well, again, there's great interest in this election. We have received emails and inquiries from across the UCSF organization. And with it, to your point, questions about how UCSF employees can engage in political activities. Of course, we encourage civic participation. This is a priority for us. But just to be clear, it's not just with our internal community, but with our neighbors in the greater Bay Area community, as well as patients, to help everyone, to ensure everyone we serve has the opportunity to make their voices heard. Since we are a public entity and nonprofit, employees cannot support or oppose candidates or measures on the ballot in their university roles or with UCSF resources. So this includes UCSF email, Zoom accounts, or facilities. Members of our UCSF community can, however, participate in the political process on personal time, using personal resources and without any interference of university endorsement, which is key. You can use your title for identification purposes only when taking a personal position, but must offer a disclaimer to clarify you are advocating in an unofficial capacity, such as, you know, title for identification purposes only. You can find our advocacy guidelines in a short video, which I think was very fun that we've shared. It was actually done last year. Allie Jones, who manages our advocacy and communications for the Office of Community and Government Relations, helped put this together. And that's at www.ucsf.edu/advocacy. So please don't hesitate to connect with our office with any questions or clarifications. But I think that now that we have our guidelines out there, it will be very helpful. I have appreciated the inquiries from across the organization because I think folks are a little nervous about what they can and can't do and the parameters that they have to work within. So again, I invite folks to connect with our office and we can provide clarification to any questions. One thing I'll add, I ask that you connect with our staff also before meeting with elected officials or their staff in San Francisco, Sacramento, or DC on any kind of UCSF business. The great thing that I've learned my time at UCSF is there are a lot of great relationships with our elected officials, a lot of personal relationships, a lot of partnerships that have been in existence for some time. Which is fantastic. It's great for the organization, but it's helpful for our office to know so we can provide background information, we can advise. There might be issues or asks that are already on the table. So it's important to, it might just be a FYI, we're having this conversation with Assembly Member X or Congress Member X. We're here to help and to advise and make sure that we're maximizing those discussions and being thoughtful about dynamics relevant to our engagement with our elected officials. I actually have a question for you. Are there any recent examples of faculty advocacy that you are particularly proud of and demonstrate a good example of how our UCSF community has moved the needle or used our research and voice to create health policy or change?
There are so many great examples of UCSF research informing public debate and informing the public. One that immediately comes to mind is the soda tax. Roberto Vargas chaired a group to address healthy eating and active living that zeroed in on sugary beverages as a major health issue for communities in Bayview Hunters Point, Chinatown, the Mission, and elsewhere. He did his work as part of an effort to leverage UCSF scientists in support of evidence-based policy and public health approaches. These communities are big consumers of sugary drinks, in part, as research showed, because of those communities' own biases. Roberto convened San Francisco policymakers, community health advocates, and UCSF scientists to explore policy options for reducing diabetes and other chronic disease disparities. UCSF research showed that though these communities were weary of a soda tax, they wanted more healthy options generally. They wanted to protect children from obesity caused by sugar and the marketing that promoted sugar, and they wanted more education around these issues. When the soda tax passed, promising $15 million a year to the city, the Health Equity Project moved into its next phase, which included cutting down on sugary drink advertising and, crucially, adding water stations around San Francisco. The citywide effort to install water stations involved the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, SPUC, the San Francisco Recreation and Parks, and various supervisors and community groups. By working with African American, Asian American, and Latino community-based organizations who knew where people would be most likely to find and use water stations, the UCSF community engaged research helped focus the expansion of the project into areas where they were most needed to offset soda consumption. Francesca, thank you again for joining me today and for this wealth of information about UCSF's advocacy efforts. It is great to learn more about this great resource on campus. I invite our School of Medicine community to please connect with Community and Government Relations with any questions about legislation, advocacy guidelines, and engaging with elected officials. I hope you will join me in participating in the 2 advocacy priorities Francesca mentioned today: advocating for the revitalization of the Parnassus Heights campus and new hospital, and getting out the vote for the 2020 election. Please visit www.ucsf.edu/advocacy for more information on becoming a UCSF advocate, guidelines on how to advocate, and to see a list of all current advocacy efforts.